guests to light the lamp, symbolizing tradition, unity, and pursuit of knowledge to mark the beginning of Synapse 2025.
Synapse stands as a long-standing annual Industry Institute Interface event exclusive for the MBA students of the Department of Management Studies, Pondicherry University since 1991. This iconic event serves as a crucial platform for students to explore and exchange ideas aligning their aspiration with contemporary industry practices.
Synapse promises an engaging lineup of 6 panel discussions covering diverse domains including finance, marketing, operations, HR, and entrepreneurship, and an exclusive alumni panel. I'm happy to invite our ever-enthusiastic Head of the Department, Professor R. Kasilingam, to officially welcome the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Most respected Registrar, distinguished Chief Guest, respected Head of the Department, my dear faculty colleagues and my dear student friends, good morning to one and all present here. As a head of the family, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all for the signature event of DMS Synapse 25. Next, let me welcome our Honorable Registrar. When we have invited, he has readily given his consent to be part of this event and ready to give away the presidential address. Welcome, sir. Next, let me welcome our Dean, who is always continuous support. I know him when he was in Alagappa University. He is a man of perfection. He used to tell every time, you do any activities, but you please take care of the rules and regulation also. So he used to tell like that. Let me welcome him. Welcome, sir. Next, let me welcome our Consulate General. So when we have made an invitation, he has agreed and he has come all the way from Chennai. That shows his commitment. When Victor sir suggested, welcome sir, when Victor sir suggested, let us have this year Consulate General as the chief guest, we have accepted and we have invited. So because we send regularly our students to France to have an exchange semester. We know the Pondicherry is having a rich cultural linkages and attachment with France. The France is considered as the 7th largest economy in the world, and it is having many popular companies such as Accord, Airbus, Shekelstorm, B&B Baribas, Society General, L Oral, like that it is having many companies. Next we have Vidya Sarthi madam. She is from 3M. When I joined PSG, in the first day, at the day of admission, they have given one book to every individual that is called In Search of Excellence, written by Tom Peters and Waterman. That time, 1987, see, Japan is famous for everything. Everybody, they are trying to follow the principles of Japan. But in this book, they have written the stories and principles practiced by American companies. They have taken 8 principles. One of the companies which I have taken is 3M. Now, being a finance person, I used to tell every year to my students, this 3M is one of the Dow is in the index of Dow Jones. So the madam is CFO, earlier CFO, whole-time director of such a big company. Welcome, madam. Next, let me welcome our faculty coordinator, Srinivasan sir and Amalok sir. So their work and coordination is exemplary, and all the faculty members to this Synapse. So next, let me welcome Arun Kumar Talari, who is the student chairman of this year event. So we believe this is the student of this is the Synapse is the it is their event. So it is the event of students, by the students, and from the students. They are organizing by themselves. So we believe democracy. We given freedom to the students. We follow transformative leadership. So now the Arun Kumar is sitting here, that shows our commitment to the principles which what we preach. So let me welcome you all for this event. Now let me tell, as a head, I have to tell something about the department. So everybody, they used to tell DMS is the first academic unit of this Pondicherry University. Apart from that, it is having many distinctive features. For example, our alumni are in a very coveted positions, not only in India, but also abroad. And their contribution to the department, they have contributed board and the sound system for the development of the department. See, to tell some of the alumni, for example, VM Srinivasan is the CEO of ChemFab Alkalis here, who has joined that company as an intern and grown to the level of CEO. Now we have another company here in Pondicherry, Indakra, that is owned by our own alumni, Anu Sriram. Then we have many such companies. Suryadaya, the owner is our own person. And if you take Sweet Chetter, the CEO is our student. Not only CEO, the vice president, he is also our student. See, both are the classmates. So still they maintain the relationship what they have developed here. Like this, there are many people around the world. If you take RBI, many places they are there. Then one of our faculty member, RPS sir, he has written more than 20 books. So all the books are very famous. Most of the IIMs, they follow that book. So now, whenever we go for admission, around 3,000 people are giving the application to get admitted here. When we go for the spot admission, around 500 people, they register, they stand in the queue up to the library. So that shows the importance of this department. Apart from that, this event itself talks about the nature of the department. Now let us try to understand what is this event, scope of the event. So this year event is fostering local consciousness for the India's future. It is having resources, ethics, aspirations, and habitat culture. So which means reach, which talks about reaching the unreached. When people, they were fighting for India's freedom, Gandhiji has not taken what is the principles, what is the steps, what is the method adopted by other countries. He has developed his own principle called non-violence, because he knows that we have a large number of people, but we do not have weapons. So this is the way we can fight with other English people to get freedom. So if you take our constitution, Ambedkar has developed our constitution by taking fundamental rights from America and fundamental directive principles of state policy from Ireland. So our constitution is different from all other constitutions in the world. Now if you take Abdul Kalam, he used to say Pura, providing rural amenities to rural places. When we take Nehruji, when he has took over the Prime Minister of India, he felt that the growth rate is very less. We do not have any resources. Then he thought the only way to develop India is to bring more and more industries. That is why he has developed public sector companies. If you take any field, he has developed one public sector company, Indian Oil Corporation, ONGC, SAIL, HAL, Gas India, Oil India, everywhere, in every field, he has developed public sector companies. Because we have a people, we have to provide employment to them. At the same time, India should develop. So by that process, he has brought the economy to the 4% growth rate. Then recently, when our Prime Minister was talking in the Parliament, he says we want to empower the entire 1.4 billion people of India. So now that is the way what we have to do. Now if you take Kamarajar, when the Parambikulam Aliyar scheme was supposed to happen, the engineers level talk has failed. The people have reported Kamarajar. That Kamarajar called the Kerala Chief Minister. Then he was shouting at him. Then that Chief Minister, he was waiting till he completed. Then after that, sir, you have every right to talk to me. You have every right to scold at me because you are my elder brother. But you have to tell me why you are scolding at me. Then he was telling, okay, this is the scheme for development. We are fighting for the we were fighting for the freedom. Unless otherwise we provide this one, getting freedom is not sufficient. We have to develop every citizen. How to do? Then he said, I know you are not only the Chief Minister of India, you are a national leader. Whatever the share you want to give, you please give to us, we will take it. So the Kamarajar has written in the file the share between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So Namboothiri board has signed immediately without asking any question. Now when BHL, they were searching a place where to locate. They could not find a place. Then they approached Kamarajar, we could not find any place where to locate. He said near Trichy, there is one place. He was telling that place name. Whether you have searched that place. Then they went and found that place is very, very good. Okay, so then they have located. So now if you take, I have studied from Sivagasi. The Sivagasi is famous for fireworks and match wars because they have lot of rural people. Those people were used for match wars. They have large sun rays. Okay, their climate is very hot. So whatever the crackers, they can put it. So now if you take any industries, okay, based on local, they have developed. So now if you look at the local brand, when I was in Sivagasi, there was one local brand by name Jill. That brand was very, very popular in the entire district. So like that, we had many brands like Velvet. They have developed Velvet to reach the many people. Okay, so this is the many local brands we have developed. When you look at the cultural brands, say I need to tell one story. When my daughter was getting married, so her uncle, they have brought a marriage garland from the Madurai. For one garland, Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple, for one garland they have paid 12,000 rupees. Such as the heritage cultural attachment they have with the temple. Whenever we go for Palani, we need to remember Sithanathan Panjamritam. So now one more story let me tell. When I was during my daughter's marriage, my daughter was interested to take parade saree from Kanchipuram. But that parade people, they said we will go to Raj Mahal. Then we were insisting because she was interested, we were insisting, they were insisting this one. This has started becoming misunderstanding. Then I asked the people, why, what is happening? Why they are like this? Then only they were telling, see, when we go to Raj Mahal, when you take the bride saree from Raj Mahal, the first son will be a male child. Like that, that is the cultural attachment they have with that Raj Mahal brand. Okay. So when you take marketing, we have to create a cultural brand and a local brand to cater to the needs of the people. So now when you look at many brands, for example, Medimix. When I went to the temple, Sabarimala temple, I could see the advertisement of the Medimix everywhere. They have adopted different strategy for different stat. Then if you look at the Asian Paint, the Pongal Asian advertisement is very, very popular. Their advertisement each is different for each and every district, every state. So like that, they have adopted different local strategy to reach the people. When you look into the operation, we have supply chain, optimum supply chain. So if you take Tabawalas, their Tabawalas supply chain is very, very popular. They do not have any error. Then if you look into the Amul, they are taking milk from the rural place in the Kedah district and they have supplied to the urban place. The way in which they adopted the system, now it has become an international brand. So now when you take the finance, we say finance for local development. There are two issues. One is bringing the people, rural people to make investment in a formal system. Another one is taking the finance to the rural people. That is why the Suryodaya, all these companies, they have come into play. So now the entrepreneurship, we have to brand, we have to create local entrepreneurs. Now we have a farm again. So that is the company developed by Coimbatore. He is from the Tirunelveli. Okay, so he has developed AI for agriculture. So like that, every aspect, this localization can be done. Now if you take myself, though I am a finance faculty, but I saw a lot of interest in Tamil literature, right? So let me tell one, we have a Bharatidasan, he has written many things. Let me tell one poem from him. ஒட்டடை கோளும் கையும் உள்ளமும் வெளியும் சேர்த்தால் கட்டிய சிலந்தி கூடு கரையானின் கோட்டையில்லா தட்டிய பெரிக்கு தூய்மை தனியார சாலச் செய்து தையலை தொட்டால் தையல். Like that we have these songs. So I have some attachment with the Tamil literature. So when I was studying the Thirukural, so how the Thirukural principles can be adopted into the management. So then that time I was reading one book, okay, Kural Nidhi, that book written by none other than the Soma Veerappan sir. That sir, when I was reading, then I thought I have to invite him. That is why sir is here. So now sir is here. Okay. So as stated by Bharatiyar, சென்றிடுவீர் எட்டு திக்கும் கலை ஞானங்கள் யாவும் தொடர்ந்து இங்கு சேர்ப்பீர். Which means, think global, act local. That is the way to develop India. Now, let me tell you, let us empower ourselves by thinking local principles and develop every citizen let us empower every citizen as stated by Prime Minister. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you to our ever energetic head of the department for the heartfelt and gracious welcome. Listening to you speak is always an enriching experience. We would like to take a moment to felicitate all our accomplished dignitaries seated on the dais.
I request our esteemed registrar, Professor Rajneesh Bhutani, to felicitate our guests, Mr. Etienne Holland Paik and Ms. Vidya Sarathi.
Forward, it is my pleasure to invite Dr. N. Srinivasan, Faculty Coordinator of Synapse 2025, to introduce the theme of the event.
It gives immense pleasure to stand before you to proceed the theme of Synapse 25. Before going to proceed that, I should welcome to the head of the Department of International Business. Welcome you, sir, for the Synapse 25. I extend warm welcome to Professor Balakrishna, Department of Banking Technology. Please welcome you, sir. We have chosen the theme of Synapse 25, fostering local consciousness for India's future. The local consciousness of in India, awareness and identity at the regional community level in India, including cultural, linguistic, and social aspects. India's future, how local consciousness will shape India's development, governance, sustainability. A specific feature of India, local consciousness regarding a particular aspect like environmental conservation, heritage, and technology. India, with its vast cultural diversity, deep-rooted traditions, and dynamic socio-economic landscape, stand at a crossroads of transformation. As the nation strides towards modernization and global integration, it's imperative to cultivate local consciousness, a sense of awareness, responsibility, and pride at the grassroots level. Local consciousness refers to the collective awareness and active participation of communities in shaping their immediate environment socially, economically, and environmentally. It plays a crucial role in sustainable development, cultural preservation, and inclusive progress. By empowering local communities, fostering regional identities, and promoting participatory governance, India can create a future that is both progressive and deeply rooted in its heritage. This theme explores the significance of local consciousness in India's future, focusing on aspects such as community-driven governance, environmental sustainability, cultural resilience, and economic self-resilience. Strengthening local engagement ensures that India's progress is inclusive, equitable, and sustainable, leading to a stronger, self-sufficient nation that thrives on its diversity. This shift in approach has the potential to transform India's trajectory and inspire a new generation of leaders and change makers. As we move forward, leveraging the collective expertise of India's local communities will be crucial in building a brighter, more resilient future. From a business perspective, by tapping into unique needs, preferences, and cultural nuances of local markets, companies can develop offerings that cater to local taste, preferences, and lifestyles. This can lead to the creation of new revenue streams by addressing local challenges and opportunities. Furthermore, fostering strategic partnership with the local business, startups, and organizations can help companies navigate complex local ecosystem and identify new business opportunities. Over the years, companies have realized that demonstrating a genuine commitment to local communities can help build trust and loyalty among customers. Embracing local consciousness allows business to reduce their carbon footprint, drive sustainable innovation, as well as uplift communities. When companies source locally, adopt eco-friendly technologies, and address regional challenges, they are able to create jobs, stimulate local economics, and promote financial inclusion. This approach not only ensures long-term profitability but also delivers tangible and lasting impact while safeguarding the environment. The India government, corporate companies are actively fostering local consciousness to drive growth, and the results are impressive. According to the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, the Startup India initiative, launched in 2016, has recognized over 1.5 lakh startups, making India an third largest startup ecosystem in the world. This growth has been driven by various government schemes such as the Fund of Funds for Startups and the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, which provide critical funding support to early stage startups. The Indian government initiatives such as Vocal for Local and Make in India are strengthening local consciousness and driving economic growth in communities, encouraging the consumption of locally made products and supporting indigenous manufacturing. These programs are fostering job creation and revitalizing regional economics. The Make in India campaign focuses on promoting domestic production, reducing dependency on imports, and empowering local industries to grow and thrive. These initiatives are driving environmental sustainability through localized solutions, through a focus on skill development, financial inclusion, and expanding access to technology. Stronger and more resilient communities are being cultivated. Ultimately, this approach contributes long-term inclusive prosperity, creating a foundation for sustainable growth and development. In conclusion, promoting local consciousness, strengthening communities, support sustainable growth, and bridges local efforts with global objectives. This transformative potential motivated us to select this theme for Synapse 25 this year. We hope that this year theme fosters impactful discussion and drives forward initiatives towards positive change. I should thank the DMS Faculty Council and Head of the Department and my own group, Professor Charamadi, has given that collective decision about such a wonderful topic have been selected, and they allowed us to give away the presentation in front of you. Finally, I should thank to the students also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for setting the thoughtful theme and context for Synapse 2025. To inaugurate this grand event, we are privileged to have with us the revered Professor P. Natarajan, Dean, School of Management, Pondicherry University. Sir, we invite you to deliver the inaugural session.
Good morning, one and all. Very good morning, one and all. The most respected President of this occasion, Professor Rajnish Bhutani, our beloved Registrar, Pondicherry University. The Chief Guest of the day, Mr. Eligene Roland, the Consul General of France, Pondicherry, Chennai and Kerala, who is gracing the occasion on the invitation of our students. And Madam Vidya Sarathi, the whole-time director, 3M India Limited. Hearty welcome, Madam, to you. And the resource person for different panel sessions, faculty friends, and above all, my dear and beloved Zoomers of the event, Zoomers of DMS, Pondicherry University. So, I hope all of you are Zenizat, right? Zenizat. I am calling you as a Zoomer because I am a boomer, baby boomer generation. So, we are seeing a lot of generation here, boomers, X generation, Y generation, and the Z generation also. So, from the capacity, I deem it as a great pleasure and pride to inaugurate this flagship event of the DMS, popularly called Synapse. I hope they are doing it more than 2 decades, it seems, nearly 2 decades. So consistently, the Synapse event is being organized by the Department of Commerce in a very grand scale. And every year on year, students are proving themselves, sir, we are second to none. So in that way, this batch students are also really cracking the event in such a way that it is a very grand success. So in that way, really, I feel happy to congratulate Arun Kumar and Ashna Anthony and the other team members of the DMS who are initiating this momentous occasion, Synapse 25. And before giving a note about the theme, just I would like to give a brief line about the School of Management to our guests. Sir, the School of Management is one of the biggest school in our university, having more than 2,000 students, 2,000 plus students. Almost all of them are Zoomers. They are doing PG as well as PhD. And around 100 plus teachers are working, catering the services of the student community in the school. And it is housed with 6 big departments in the campus. And we have off-campus centers also at Karaikal, Port Blair, and even in Lakshadweep also. So this is one of the big school in the Pondicherry University, especially the DMS, Department of Commerce and Department of Economics are the nucleus department of the Pondicherry University, which is growing over the period of 4 decades in such a way. It started with the 10 students initially. Now it has grown. When you say take DMS alone, around 400 students, 400 plus PG students, and around 50 research scholars. So such a mammoth increase in size. So though we are not only increasing the size and scaling of our operation, we have scaled our performance also. So that is this occasion is a witness for it. Especially we are shaping or grooming the student community to take up even a very painful task in such a way that they are capable of executing it meticulously by means of showing their competencies in all probability. So competencies, they have knowledge, skills and value sets with which they are able to identify the event, conceiving the theme of the event, magnifying it, blowing it up, and drafting a schedule and a sequencing of operation, and they are executing it. And when I see that invitation, really they took a lot of struggle to identify more than 25 resource persons, panel members. So when I look into all the 5 or 6 panel sessions, I could identify the outsiders. So that is why it may be Synapse 25. At least 25 people, outsiders should come here so as to witness the case. So from that, while seeing that, really I feel happy in seeing the tireless effort of our students to identify the resource person, and fixing one resource person is not an easy. So at least they have to talk 4 or 5 times, and they have to make arrangement for their traveling, and they have to treat them. So when we look into that, definitely our students are capable of proving themselves. So 25 resource person, bringing 25 resource person for all 6 or 7 panels in a very thematic way is really laudable. And 27 people they have identified, anyhow out of that 1 or 2 may not be in a position to come, they are able to. And above all, this what is the synapse? Why? When you ask the question, especially the junior DMS, you should understand that what is the purpose of conducting this event. So there is a big transition happening in the last 2-3 decades. So the traditional management approach has been transformed into stakeholders management approach. Traditional management approach has been transferred to stakeholders management approach, wherein the managers, especially the budding managers, must have a mindset that you have to work not only for proving your performance and earning good salary, and you have to work for catering the service goals of the stakeholders also. So from that perspective, you have to shape your mindset. When your mindset is right, definitely the industries will absorb you very easily and effectively. So what is the order of the day? That you have to understand. What the environment wants, what the global industry wants. So that when you are identifying that, you can groom yourself, you can shape yourself. And once when you are shaping yourself, you will be well placed. Not only getting placements, or you can take up entrepreneurial opportunities also. You can succeed in that, in the form of getting into business incubators, technology business incubators, or you can get into your own startups and shine. So all these opportunities are there when you are looking into this. When you are looking into this event, the synapse very seriously. And when you see the literal meaning of the term synapse, it tells about the communication between two atom cells. Communication between two atom cells. See how minuscule it is. So when 2 atom cells are capable of communicating themselves, here you are able to communicating yourself to the industry friends, to the big entrepreneurs of the country, and see, sir, we are here, so we will cater your requirements. Kindly come and observe us, test us and observe us. Like that you can communicate through this kind of institute industry interface. That's the real interface. So in the interface, a kind of communication should take place. Communication to take place means you have to convey your potentials to the industry friends. So for which a platform has been arranged in the name Synapse, and wherein lot of scenarios are being created. Even I can define the term Synapse with an acronym. Synapse, SYNAPSE. So every one of you should understand why this Synapse. Synapse first gives you lot of scenarios, and it helps you to showcase your skill sets, and it helps you to enhance your speed in executing things, conceiving ideas, carrying out the tasks, everything. So scenarios, because scenarios are changing now. It's not stereotyping. During our days, most of the time, the generation gap is 30 years, 40 years. Now the generation gap is reduced to 10 years or 20 years maximum. That's it. So that is why in my lifespan itself, I could see 3 generation, 4 generation. That's what I said. Boomers, X, Y, Z. Then now our next generation has also come, Alpha generation. Alpha generation has come from 2010 onwards. The children born after 2010 are identified as Alpha Gen. So the generation span has been reduced. Okay, when it reduces, what it conveys? As a potential managers, you have to understand the environment and see how to mold yourself. So that is why the first and foremost letter in the Synapse, S, stands for scenarios. Now you have to see the scenarios and identify what it needs, what it requires, how to equip it, and how to imbibe it, and how to execute that. Then letter Y tells about a kind of youthfulness and human service mentality. So when you are taking part in every activity, kind of youth energy will come in you. Even when we are aged, when you are taking up the activity with the spirit and involvement, definitely we feel youthful. So Y stands for that energy, youthful energy. And the N stands for the nuances and networking. So only by means of taking it an event like this, you will be getting into nuances. How to identify the resource person, how to treat them, how to ensure hospitality, and how to conduct a meeting, how to schedule the events. So you have to look into the nuances of taking up each and every actions. So that is why N, that letter N is very important. It gives you the nuances on many things. Networking helps a lot to do networking also. And then when you say A, the letter A of Synapse, it tells about the ambition, actions, and assertiveness. So you can be ambitious, and to fulfill your ambition, you have to execute, you have to enter into action. To ensuring action or having ensured action, you will be getting a kind of assertiveness, or you will be getting a kind of endurance and willpower. So that is what the A tells you. And then P, the letter P stands for perseverance. Perseverance is very much required for carrying out any task. As a management student, every one of you must have the quality of ensuring the perseverance, strong perseverance in carrying out the things. Don't leave the task abruptly in the middle. Come what may, I will execute. That kind of attitude should come. So when it is taking place, when you have that kind of attitude, definitely you will be able to execute any kind of task. You will be able to execute meta tasks like this. So P stands for perseverance, passions, and patience also. So we have to come across a lot of constraints. We have to manage the constraint. It needs a lot of patience and willpower. Thereby, as a manager, you can face the constraints very easily, because the industry needs constraints manager. Even designation itself is given like that. Earlier days, they are simply executive position they put. Now they are mentioning the designation as a job role itself. No, we want constraint manager. So what that designation tells? It tells that the person who are aspiring for that position, they must be capable of bringing solution for various constraints, or they must be ready to work in a constraint environment, and they must be able to overcome the constraint. So that is why managerial position is not a bed of roses. It is bed of roses with full of thorns. You have to have the attitude to lie in the bed and sleep well also. You have to sleep well. No, in the bed of roses with full of thorns. So it needs a lot of qualities. One such quality is this one: perseverance, passions, everything. Then the another S, which is very, very pertinent in the Synapse letter, synergy. This synapse gives you a kind of synergy among all. Now, among the two students and teachers, among the industry and the institute, and among the administrators and the students. So many, you are moving with different clusters of the society, and thereby a synergy, positive synergy takes place, and which in turn gives you energy and make you to act well. So synergy, and at once when the synergy is gaining, success will come to you. So that is why that S is very, very important. And at the end, the synapse S stands for the enthusiasm. You must be very enthused to take up the task till you complete make the event grand success. Enthused, efficient, and ensure effectiveness. Once you are doing it, automatically a kind of elegance will come. Elegance. As a student, as a potential executive, you have to aspire for the effectiveness and the elegance, and thereby a kind of enthralling will take place. So you will be able to identify by the people very easily. They will remember you, and they will call you. That's how you have to get placement. Don't go and beg. You have to prove yourself your potential. So that for which this synapse gives you a lot of opportunity. Right. Just to put in a nutshell, this program is being executed by the Zoomers. Many of you may be knowing the ZGen vocabularies. When you are coming to the department DMS at the time of joining, many of you may be of FOMO and FOPO. FOMO. FOMO. What is that? FOMO and FOPO. FOPO. Have you heard? Anyone? FOMO? Come on. One of you. FOMO. Come. Yes. Fear of missing out. No? So you may think, how do we survive in this environment? No? Very dynamic environment. So that kind of a fearing may be there. And then FPO, FOPO, FOPO. FOPO also there many times. Many times it prevents people from participation. It prevents people by means of giving inhibitions, shyness. What's that? FOPO. Fear of? Yeah, come on, very good. Give a hand to him. Fear of public opinion. No, fear of the opinion. So many times we shy forward. We are inhibited. A kind of inhibition develops, and which prevents us from participation. And once the event is over, you may think, I would have participated in that. I would have showcased my skill. Many of you, definitely many of you will feel. So don't give that kind of room in the next occasion. Actively participate. So when you are volunteering yourself, definitely you will be able to showcase your skill and get good laurels, which in turn makes you to amplify your ability, skills, everything. So when you are coming with the FOMO and FOPO. And having been trained here, no, you will be getting into YOLO. YO, LO. What's that? YOLO. You will be getting some kind of confidence. We only live once. We only live once. We have to do something. We have to prove ourselves. That kind of thinking will come, which in turn gives you determination, which in turn gives you confidence, which in turn makes you to enter into action. Thereby you will execute. You will take up the action and prove yourself. So that will come. YOLO will come. Once YOLO will come, RIZ will come. RIZ. R-I-Z is that. What is that? RIZ. You are able to RIZ others. Attract others. You will be able to attract others. That is attract industry friends who are coming here. So thereby they will be giving you placement opportunity. No? Once you are able to attract others, no? The end word which I like very much is buzzin. What's that? BUSSIN. It all your generation code words, no? Buzzin. No? So you can ensure grand success and make yourself really good and more effective. So this is what is required for the generation. Then is that, and the university, the department DMS is also designing their curriculum in such a way that, and giving the opportunity for the students to take part in to conceive the events and take part in the event, and to participate in various competitions, quiz programs, and the major skill events, and thereby they are able to showcase their ability. So with this, I wish the program should be a grand success, and I am very happy to inaugurate this occasion, and the coming year next batch students, you have to see your seniors, how they are exhibiting now, and you should do that in a better manner in the years to come. So with this, once again, I extend my hearty thanks to all the faculty members of DMS who are actively coaching, guiding, and mentoring the students to take up the initiative. At the same time, they are giving them free hands also. When I asked the Arun, he said, "What's the budget of the event?" He said, just like that, around 25 lakhs, sir. 25 lakhs. So raising 25 lakhs at the student level is very difficult, really. And he said that again, "Sir, we won't spend that 25 lakhs fully. We will be planning to make the event completed in 10 to 15 lakhs. So that means they are having the saving mentality also, which is very much required in the present day contest. We should not be a spendthrift. So we have to have the kind of saving quality, which in turn can be used for some other investment purpose. So these kind of mega events are not only an expenditure, revenue expenditure, it's a capital expenditure by my perception. So it all required, and it all should be encouraged by the institutions, colleges and universities, so as to build up the skills, because now we are seriously working for developing human capital. So for developing human capital, mere classroom lecture is not enough. We have to allow them to get into the activity like this. Thereby they will become very successful and efficient and effective event managers, consent managers, troubleshooters, which are all very much required for a country like India for ensuring Viksit Bharat. 2047 it should come. We have to reach it before that, for which the student energy, youth energy is very much essential, and the youth must be shaped in such a way that they are able to prove themselves by means of making a lot of contribution continuously and consistently. Thank you one and all for the opportunity given.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, shaping ourselves is pivotal for our career. Through spelling out what each letter of Synapse stands for, he has given us a better understanding of Synapse. To have a dean like him, who is committed to the betterment of the students, is truly a privilege for all of us. It is our privilege to have with us our Honorable Registrar, Professor Rajneesh Budhani. He is an isotope geochemist and has studied the evolution of the Earth through time. Sir, we are honored by your presence, and we invite you for the presidential address.
Thank you so much. Let me start by congratulating all of you, the members of Department of Management Studies, for this wonderful Synapse 25. Congratulations. And I see the future CEOs, managers very proudly sitting, seeing the unfolding of Synapse 25 among the dignitaries like the Council General Adin. Let me also put from the university's side on record our greatest appreciation and gratitude for you being here, sir, the Council General of France, today amongst us. Let me also take this opportunity to thank and welcome Vidya Sarthi Madam, the whole-time director of Triple M company, and formerly she was in the Bosch. So it is really an honor to have such kind of personalities among us during this Synapse 25, which makes it even bigger and grander, and many more industrialists who are going to participate in the panel discussion. I welcome you all from the behalf of the university, and I congratulate the student chairperson, Mr. Arun Kumar, and vice chairperson, I think it is Ashna and Tony. So congratulations, all of you. Big congratulations and thanks to Professor Kashilingam for organizing this wonderful event. The Dean School of Management, of course, Professor Natarajan is always a very supportive person throughout the university for many university activities. So I thank you, sir, also. Dr. Srinivasan is very ably doing the faculty coordinator job. So congratulations to you also, and thank you, sir. And all my faculty colleagues, senior professors, head of the departments, Professor Victor, the Dean of International Relations. And I really feel privileged that I got invited here as, to deliver the presidential address, which is a tall order for me, a person like who comes outside the field of management. But I was wondering about the theme of this particular event, fostering local consciousness for India's future. And pardon me for sharing this, but somehow when I was listening to Professor Kashilingam and then Professor Natarajan, and then when Dr. Srinivasan was elaborating on the theme, somehow, I'm asking the pardon because somehow the movie which I happened to see last night was coming back to me again and again. So I thought, let me share that with you. Somehow, after a long time, I could see one movie on OTT yesterday, and it says Mehta's Boys. And it so happened, I don't know whether it was by chance or some design, I have no idea, but it so happened the theme of the movie, of course, every script has many layers, and one was the relationship issue between father and the son, but one part of the theme of the movie where a protagonist happened to be one of the architects of big architectural company, and the theme of that part of the movie was local consciousness for global modern emerging India. And Lord, just may share you what that message of the movie, which is very relevant to this particular Synapse theme also. So the story goes like this, that there is a big architectural firm, and our protagonist is an architect there who is actually struggling to keep his job there. He has a very fierce competitions among the fellow architects in the company, and the company was awarded a contract by a big industrialist client to prepare a design for a university where the client says that I want to showcase that particular architectural design to the world as a symbol of modern emerging India. So that was the theme provided to all the architects, and they came up with several designs, and last many years they were actually sending their designs to the industrialist client, and all those designs were being rejected. All those designs were being rejected, and all those architects were very experienced architects, very established architects, and none of those designs were being accepted by the client. And the theme was that I want to showcase my university designs to the world as a modern emerging India. And everybody was perplexed. Then this protagonist somehow came up with this idea, and he says that why we are being always rejected. And then he realized that whatever designs we were sending to the client by the different established architects were all what they call glass and steel designs. And he realized that glass and steel is not local concept to India. It was very well working in the Western countries, in the high latitudinal countries where they have this importance of keeping the heat inside with the glass and steel, but that is not what Indian environment would require. Then he goes back to the ancient monuments of India, and he come up with a design where you have big arching windows, big arching domes with mesh windows, which will actually allow the cool air to flow, very good, well ventilated, but will keep the heat outside. At the same time, it will also showcase that India has been a leader in architect once upon a time. So he is bringing back those architectural sensibilities to the modern functionalities of the buildings. So the message was that whenever you want to actually being seen as a global leader in something, you have to bring some uniqueness. And when you look for the uniqueness, look for the strength, then no other place you need to go other than looking mindfully around you. And when you start looking mindfully around you, then you realize there are many local strengths you have around you that can be leveraged to be seen standing more than the others, competitors, in whatever field you take. In fact, I must also congratulate those organizers which have come up with such kind of theme of local consciousness for emerging India or for the future India, because this word itself is so loaded and so layered. Consciousness itself is a field of research. I don't want to go into that. But the word local itself has many layers. How do you define local? And that depends on the context. Contextually, I remember my days in US, whenever we see any South Asian, we used to say Deshi, local person. We could immediately relate to that person. Even South Asian was a Deshi there. But when you come to India, then you have, even in Pondicherry, we will say, all these Chennaiers are doing all this. Chennaiers becomes outsider to us. See, this is not local. And then when you go, we have our issues within the different states in southern region, but then we will become one when we come to the other states. So local keeps on changing. So whether you are talking about local human resources, whether you are talking about local resources like agricultural products or local talent. Like for example, big industry is actually leveraging the handicraft artisans, which have the local talent to prepare very innovative handicraft products which could be sold globally. So either you are talking to fostering of those kind of talents. So many layers are there in the word local itself. And that is where I think this kind of synapse events would be very productive to deliberate upon such nuances, such layered potentialities of this particular theme. And that is why I feel even more honored that a person who is outside this field has been invited to this and got a chance to listen to. I'm very eagerly looking forward to listening to Athene and also Vidyasarthi madam. But when I was listening to Professor Kashilingam and he was reciting all those Tamil poems, one thing which I was, and Professor Srinivasan also mentioned, that, we have to think global, but act local. And when listening to all these speeches, what I realized is thinking global is actually in the DNA of Indians, whether it is any part of India. Because if you think from the literature point of view of even thousands of years old Sangam literature, at that time they announced Yadu Mure Yavrum Kelir. So think global is in our DNA. But how to act local? That is where now we have to really deliberate upon. And in fact, when you are talking about dimensions of the word local, one another thing comes to my mind is that not only it is local around us that we have to leverage, but sometime when we are reaching the other, whom we can call other part of the world, there also we have to make locals relate with those either products or whatever outreach we are doing. And that I'm saying because I have seen the experience of these China products. We have our local festivals of Diwali, we use Chinese lamps. We have our local festival of whatever, and we make this Pukalam and other rangolis through the Chinese colors, Chinese lightings. We are celebrating our local festival from those outsider projects. So this is another dimensions of local. No matter where you are reaching, locals should be able to accept that thing. So there are so many dimensions. I'm sure many panelists are there. They would definitely deliberate on this. And lastly, on behalf of university, I would ensure all the outsider, particularly the people who have come from the industry, a hearty welcome and ensure that you would have very productive, good, intellectual, stimulating sessions with our students. And let me take this opportunity to showcase our talented students to you. So whenever you are looking for any positions, please consider our wonderful, talented students there. And I'm sure you would never be disappointed. With this, I congratulate you, all of you, and wish you a very successful, wonderful Synapse 25. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. How beautifully has Sir explained and emphasized the importance of our theme to be discussed in present India through the wonderful examples he has given. The word local itself has multiple layers and nuances, and it's up to us to interpret and fresh perspectives such as Sir's is maybe what we need here at the Department of Management to peel into these layers.
It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest. He's a seasoned French diplomat and economist with extensive experience in international relations and economic affairs. He currently serves as the Consul General of France in Pondicherry and Chennai. Prior to this, he led the Mission de l'Adoption Internationale at the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs. He also served as a French diplomat in different countries including Vietnam, South Korea, and Japan. Sir's career reflects a strong commitment to fostering international cooperation and cultural exchange. It is a pleasure to have Mr. Etienne Holland-Paig at Pondicherry University. We welcome you, sir, to take the stage for the chief guest address.
Morning, everybody. Dear Professor Kasilingan, head of the department, dear Dr. Srinivasan, faculty coordinator, dear Professor Natarayan, Dean of the School of Management, dear Register, Dear faculty, dear fellow students, everybody, bonjour. So I've been told to talk about management studies in France and to give recommendations for the students. So first, I will talk a little bit about myself. So my name is Etienne. I studied economics in France in the late 1980s at the École Normale Supérieure in Paris. One of my classmates was called Esther Duflo. She went on to marry with Abhijit Banerjee, who was her professor at MIT, and they both got a Nobel Prize. So my first recommendation to you is don't marry your professor. You might get a Nobel Prize. Then I went to Japan. I taught at Keio University, and I came back to Europe to start a PhD program in management in a school called INSEAD. And so I was a PhD student, but I dropped out. I quit to enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So my second recommendation to all of you is don't drop out. Complete your program. As Professor Natarajan said, be persistent. Don't do like Steve Jobs. Don't do like Bill Gates. Don't do like Mark Zuckerberg, because they all dropped out of their college. Anyway, so I was at INSEAD. So INSEAD is a school based in Europe, but actually it's a business school for the world with faculty and students coming from all over the world. I think we have more than 2,400 alumni from India. When I was there, I had a great professor named Sumantra Ghoshal. I don't know if some of you in the faculty know him. He was an outstanding scholar, so born in India, educated in the US, so specializing in strategy. He wrote many articles in Harvard Business Review, many books, many academic papers, but unfortunately he passed away at a young age. He passed away in 2004. That was a great loss. So INSEAD is ranked among the 5 best business schools in the world, along with Harvard Business School, Wharton, or Stanford. But if you look at other business schools in France, they all have very good rankings. If you look at the rankings for European business schools, I think 5 or 6 best European schools are in France. If you look at the top 50, you may find about 20 French business schools, many more than business schools in the UK or in Germany, where management education is underdeveloped. So I don't know what's the ranking of the management department of Pondicherry University and of your MBA program, but my third recommendation is don't trust the rankings. Do what you like. Enter the program you choose, especially if it's ranked first. Anyway, why are so many French business schools in top international rankings? How can we explain this success? Why is management education in France so competitive? I can think of several reasons. First, competition between business schools in France is very severe. So in order to attract the best students and keep their ranking positions, business schools have to innovate and adapt constantly. And as any economist will tell you, competition is good for business. It brings innovation. It brings a higher quality service. So second factor, as Professor Cassilingam mentioned in his introductory speech, the French economy has also become very globalized. France is the European Union's second economy after Germany. It is the 6th or 7th largest in the world. France is the leading destination in Europe for foreign investment in industry, with 20% of total. About 30 French companies are listed in the Fortune Global 500. Germany has less, I think 28, the UK 25. So French multinational firms are industry leaders in many sectors. If you look at companies active in Tamil Nadu, you have Stellantis, Peugeot and Citroën, you have Renault, the cars, you have Michelin tires, you have several automobile equipment manufacturers, you have Saint-Gobain for glass and construction material, you have Capgemini in digital services. Well, you have many international companies here in the south of India. And so French business schools benefit from this vibrant private sector, and this is another reason why they rank so well in international rankings. Third reason, French business schools have developed a different business model than in the United States. I don't know what's the case in Pondicherry University, but in the US, an MBA takes 2 years to complete. In France, and we were the first to introduce this shorter period, a French MBA lasts only 1 year or 15 months. So they are more intensive. Students and faculty also have strong links with the business world, and this is really the purpose of this Synapse event, to build connections between you students, between the faculty, and between the business leaders that you have invited. So in France, professors are also evaluated on the quality of their teaching, not only on the research papers that they publish in academic journals. I have to tell you that very few people read academic papers in management. Managers don't read scientific journals in management. And French business schools are also, as I said, more globalized, with a huge proportion of the faculty and student body coming from abroad. At INSEAD, I told you, you had many students from India. If you take other schools like HEC or ESSEC, about 7% of their student body come from India, more than China. And so they are very eager to attract the best Indian students. And they have tried to establish a brand image in Asia. Some of them are opening campuses in Asia, like INSEAD in Singapore, ESSEC also in Singapore. ESSEC is considering opening a campus in South Asia. They also have PhD programs with students from all over the world. So after your MBA, if you want to start a career in teaching management, well, you could consider applying to a program in France. Of course, it's fully in English. Plus, if you're bright, you can get a good scholarship. So now, if you want to learn from France, what are the fields in which French scholars in management or in academia, broadly defined, are most influential? First, I would say management studies is more and more quantitative. And mathematics is one of the strong points of the French education system. That is something that we have in common with India. So if you look at the number of Fields medals, Fields medals are the Nobel Prize for mathematicians. You have about 30% of French people. Here, near Chennai, you have the Chennai Mathematical Institute. CMI was built with the help of French mathematicians, starting in the 1930s and also in the 50s. And until now, there are French mathematicians teaching and doing research at CMI. So mathematics is useful mostly in finance. Well, first of all, in finance. And I don't know if you have financial economics in your program, but it's a strong point in France. We have an outstanding faculty in finance, market modeling, computer algorithm, artificial intelligence. You know, next week, on Monday and Tuesday, there will be a big summit in Paris on artificial intelligence. Prime Minister Modi will be the chief guest. So this is something we are strong at. And again, it can be useful in management studies, not only in finance, but also more and more in marketing. Marketing has now a heavy focus on quantitative methodologies and other disciplines as well. But if you don't like math, and I'm sure some of you don't like math, I didn't like math, and you would prefer what we call soft skills, then again, French business schools have also much to offer. So marketing is another strong point in France. We know how to sell things. You know, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, Chanel, Christian Dior, Hermes. Do these names sound familiar? At least for the ladies? Okay, so these are luxury brands in France. And indeed, if you want to study luxury brand management, France is definitely the place to go. But there are other niche specialties in management in which French scholars have expertise. Wine marketing, of course, we produce a lot of wine, but also food business. French cuisine is one of the best in the world, along with Indian cuisine. Tourism and hospitality management. You mentioned the group Accor in the hospitality business, etc., etc. Which brings me to a more general idea. France is known not only as an economic powerhouse, but also a place of high culture and refined taste. So in France, we are known for our taste for literature. We have many Nobel Prizes in literature. And if you want to discuss literature with me, I'm your man. Anyway, we also cultivate the arts. And if you have the opportunity to travel to France and visit Paris or other cities, I hope you will sense this cultural background, which is also important in management studies. Of course, as future managers, you are practically oriented. You are business persons, not cultural persons or intellectuals. But my opinion is that you cannot detach management studies from its cultural background. And it has always been a case. For instance, human resource management. What is it if not the handling of human persons with all their affects and cultural sensitivities? Or marketing. Isn't marketing a new form of artistic expression? Can you detach brands, especially brands that people care about, from the cultural messages that they convey? What qualities would be expected to you as future business leaders, if not creativity and vision? So, having lived in France and received a France education, I can tell you that one doesn't only learn such things in the classroom, one experiences them in everyday life. And as students from the MBA program in Pondicherry University, this is the experience I would engage you to take. So engage life fully. Don't be narrow-minded only on management and your fields of specialization, but have broad interests in culture, in geopolitics, in all the fields that attract you, and I will show you'll do the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Persistence, commitment, and resilience are indeed qualities we should possess as MBA graduates. We assure you to keep the words of wisdom you shared with us today in the back of our minds throughout our career. We would also like to say that its interaction as a driving force for a wider cross-cultural exchange, especially in academics. Our exchange students program provided opportunity for a few of our students to actually study in France. We hope to add to that number in the future. Without further ado, let's jump in on one of the most awaited segments of this session, our keynote address. We are privileged to have with us Ms. Vidya Sarathi. I welcome Ms. Vidya Sarathi. She is a distinguished finance professional with nearly 30 years of experience in senior roles across diverse industries. She is the full-time director and the former chief financial officer of 3M India Limited. She also holds directorships in other companies, including Wildcraft India Limited. She is a qualified chartered accountant, company secretary, and cost management accountant. Additionally, she has earned a diploma in IFRS from ACCA. I would like to invite Ms. Vidya Sarathi to deliver the keynote address.
A very good morning to the dignitaries, to the management of Pondicherry University, professors and my dear students. It is my privilege to be here today along with you to deliver on this important theme that has been selected. Congratulations for selecting this theme because it is very apt today in today's context, and I would like to share some of my views on this. So the first part of the theme is strengthening the local economies. Strengthening the local economies, it means there's a background to the entire start of this thinking, I would say. We all saw the COVID times. COVID times really gave us a lot of learning, isn't it? Even though there was a little bit of a drawback, we started doing business in a very different way, and we could deliver many things even at times where we were not together. We were all sitting in different places alone. Maybe even with the family members we could not meet and talk and do together, but still we could deliver on all our business needs in a very different way. And this has given an important opportunity for different countries also. We also had learnings that if we are going to be dependent on other countries, our supply chains were really impacted, isn't it? We were buying from different countries, importing from different countries. So the supply chain was an impact. So there was a thought process how we should become more self-reliant, more country-driven production should be there, so that each country started thinking of different ways of handling situations that can happen in these kind of situations. Okay, so in that context, India had an opportunity to become a second destination, I should say, to China. China was a primary exporter of many goods and services. Goods, I should say, more manufactured. So India was a second destination because every country thought that they should not be very dependent on one single country, then which can kind of end up in domination. So we had an opportunity, and the government also quickly took initiatives to see how we can develop India in that sense. So today's theme is strengthening of the local economies. For example, vocal for local, as many of you all discussed very nicely on this. So which means vocal for local is strengthening your domestic production in one way, making it better and widening the areas where we need support. So that is one part. And also giving more emphasis on MSMEs, medium and small scale entrepreneurs, to start their productions, to do things differently, and them also making an inclusive culture. And we are also seeing startup giving more focus. The government is giving more focus on startup. So for example, you may also want to start different startup companies, and they're all becoming very big valuations. They just bring up some ideas, they talk to entrepreneurs, bigger industrialists, then they talk to venture capitalists, then the valuations are very, very different from what the traditional companies have been. We have seen a lot of traditional companies surviving for many years, and then their valuations compared to a valuation of a startup which is just 2-3 years old but still having very different valuation in the chain, I should say. So with this context, I would like to share some of the views. So what the government rightly did was, it said we want to become a $5 trillion economy at least by 2030. So that is the dream of the government. It is not only a dream, they have taken several initiatives to make it happen. If you see today, India has a GDP of 6.5% growth, which is the highest in all. When you compare all other countries, the GDP growth in India is 6.5%. And we are also taken many initiatives to achieve this. First, we are talking about even rural development. Okay, rural development, because agriculture, India is a predominantly agricultural country. So we need to kind of support agriculture by modern techniques, and then investments in agriculture, then educating the farmers to do better. So the production starts in agriculture, and we are able to take care of the domestic consumption and also start exporting the agricultural products. So that is very important. The second step, what they have done is again MSME culture and the startup initiative. So if you see Bangalore, we have some 2-3 areas which are only talking about startup communities and how they want to deliver, participate in this growth of India story. Then the other part, what we are also talking about is infrastructure development. Okay, so where all we are lagging, if you see the budget speech and the capital expenditure where the government wants to put the money in, one is infrastructure. Again, infrastructure, we need lot of development there, and there are steps that they want to take care to develop infrastructure so that we can become very modern, and we have to also start improving our quality levels to deliver to the export market. So manufacturing is a very important base aspect for India for improving the agricultural part. Then the next one is on the structural and economic reforms. So again, if you see the GST, the collections in GST, and then here we would see the corporates are lagging behind, the government is very fast. If you see the GST areas, they have become more technology oriented, and then you can do many things online. You get so many reports online. So GST is a very successful project for the government. In terms of revenue, collections have improved, broadened, which gives more fund into the kitty of the budget of the government kitty. Again, if you see the income tax regulations, the regulatory aspects of it is becoming more governance rather than regulate. The regulators are putting more governance into it, and it makes lives easy for the entrepreneurs, for the corporates also to deal with it. Then the other part is they have also to support all the MSMEs and the startups as well as the corporates, the tax rates, rationalization of the tax rates, as well as support to the entrepreneurs by way of giving them banking support. So again, this is again like self-declaration and self-management. So you don't have to give any mortgage or while you're taking loans. You're given lot of benefits and support from the government, but you're also monitored that you're able to keep up your repayment terms and all those things. So that gets monitored, but then lot of support is there for all the young entrepreneurs to do business and then to and they are also having regulatory support. For example, if a larger corporate is not paying their dues on time, again you have a legal support for them so that they are all getting paid on time, and the entire ecosystem is developed in that way. And they are also working on ease of doing business in India. So if the multinational companies have to come to India, invest here, the resources is really there. So they want to make use of the opportunities. Then the infrastructure is also getting built with government and private partnerships are also there, because it's not only driven by government, it's also private players also needs to be there, because it's very large investment and also has to be done in certain specific timelines. So the ease of doing business also is a very important step that the government is taking. So the people who want to invest in India, they are finding it easier to get all the approvals on time and get them started quickly. Then the agriculture and rural economy is also given lot of thrust and focus, because that's also very important for India's growth, both for domestic consumption as well as for exports. Then you have different types of the financial market. Again, the banking, the bank lending to all these people, how it should be lent, and how the banks are also getting protected if there are defaulters. So those kind of regulations are also in place now. And you are also seeing the green growth and sustainability. So you've been hearing about ESG, isn't it? The environment, sustainability. So the government is also taking a lot of initiatives on that to see what is the green energy and what are the alternate fuels for gasoline and diesel. We have this electrification of cars and all that, so that the energy dependency also needs to come down, because our main biggest import bill is only on fuel. Then again, there is initiatives on skill development. So how the corporates should help all the students to gain the relevant skills that are necessary for the corporates. That is, there is a lot of gap there, I could see. Of course, the gap is getting reduced, but then a lot more to do on that line, because the corporates are not really having time to take people, then train them, and then see how they deliver and all that. So they would be more comfortable having with the desired skill set. So that is where I think we need to work together to see how the universities and the corporates, they join together to see how we can make this happen, make the students more filled with skills that are required for immediate job requirements. And then the urban development also happens. So there are different types of initiatives. The renewable energy is one concept, the ESG is another concept, then the capital expenditure, where we need to spend money, and then how do we become a second destination to China in terms of semiconductor. We are investing in renewable energies, and then we are investing in the infrastructure in terms of having more rails, more number of airports to come, and then the roads are becoming better, and the quality standards also needs to improve when you have to deliver on a global level. All these things are happening parallelly, and so therefore I would say that the students, what is there in store for the students, what you need to look at now. So for you, what you need to do is you have to strengthen your core financial knowledge, be strong in your base knowledge. So that is very important. And once your base is there, then you can start developing into different requirements. So that is what you should do. And you also need to understand and get updated knowledge of the things that are happening around, because every day there's a change that's happening, and you need to know what is the government thinking, which are the greenfield areas that are there, and where you have to really set your career path and grow. So that is how you have to keep a watch on all these things, and then also do a good networking, have good connections, and be with the latest developments. That is a very important thing that you should be in. And of course, technology is part and parcel of finance. You can never do anything without technology. So technology and finance is very embedded together. So it's very important that you get embedded with you be a tech savvy, I should say. That's very important for you to grow, and also gain practical exposure. If you can get into internships, if you can get into some kind of courses, online courses, which will help you to get a good career break. So those are all very important things to do. And then join professional networks, attend seminars, conferences, just to keep updated, be connected, know what are your rights, what are your obligations, and then when you're also discharging your duties, the other soft skills in a corporate will be team building. You have to work very closely with your team, collaborate well, and then start every time you must see that you're growing, you're learning in your present organization. When the learning stops, I think you need to either take a different role or you may have to switch to a different company, because learning is where you will your value actually gets added. So that's very important for learning. And the other important thing is also the ethical standards. You always need to observe that whatever you do should be falling within the ethical standards, that nobody comes and points out to you on certain aspects. That's very important in a corporate culture. So all these things, I think, if you're going to the world is yours now and you're in the right space, and India is really growing very well. There are so many opportunities that are there, and sitting in local and doing getting in dollars is very important, and it's a good thing to be in, isn't it? You earn in dollars, but you're spending in rupees. So therefore, your wealth is already going to increase very significantly. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my views with you, and wishing you a very successful event. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The development of MSMEs and startups indeed boosts the Indian economy, but agricultural and service sectors also play a pivotal role. Ma'am's insights about government policies and how we can use it for our growth was truly enriching. We are truly grateful for your advice in terms of our career growth. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, we are immensely proud to present Impressions 2025, the annual magazine of the Department of Management Studies, released in conjunction with Synapse, that documents all the valuable insights and knowledge shared in each synapse. This year's issue is themed after fostering local consciousness for India's future. I request our distinguished guests, Ms. Vidya Saradi and Professor Etienne Roland, to please do the honor of releasing Impression.
Now, I would like to invite Mr. Arun Kumar Talari, Student Coordinator of Synapse 2025, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks as the conclusion of this inaugural ceremony of Synapse 2025, our prestigious annual Industry Institute Interface event organized by the Department of Management Studies, School of Management, Pondicherry University. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. Etienne, the Consul General of France, Pondicherry and Chennai, for gracing this occasion with his presence and delivering an inspiring address that set the tone for today's event. I sincerely thank our esteemed keynote speaker, Ms. Vidya Saradi, whole-time director at 3M India Limited, for sharing her valuable insights and providing us with actionable perspectives that align with the core themes of this event. A special note of appreciation goes to Professor Rajnish Bhutani, Registrar, Pondicherry University, for his motivational presidential address, which highlighted the importance of bridging academia and industry.